Hey everyone, it's Bad Drawing Nurse here, and today I wanted to talk about how if I made it through my first nursing orientation as a new grad, then so could you. So they pretty much only gave us a couple of days to really familiarize orientees to the hospital and then our specific unit. And right after that, we were paired up with our preceptor. And for me, mine was super wise and super patient. And the reason I wanted to highlight super patient was because, I had like so many questions to ask her because this was my first job in the nursing field. I didn't have a lot of experience when I was in nursing school or even prior to that. There are a lot of questions about heparin drips, insulin drips, and this is my first introduction to RRTs and just knowing different sort of protocols and parameters to look out for with these people we're taking care of and just how the hospital really operates. And of course, with all of those answers to all of my questions, I just felt super overwhelmed. Especially for that first week where I was learning so many new different things. I was kind of starting to get a little worried that this might be a little bit more than I bargained for. What I pretty much had to tell myself to kind of not feel too discouraged about it all was that it's going to take some time. And for things to truly stick, there's also going to be some repetition. And what I ended up understanding was that it's better to learn one new thing for 100 days than learn 100 things in one day, which definitely helped me out. Another thing that I also had to learn for myself is that you can't let others shame you for trying to understand something you're just learning on the job. You really can't get those type of people get into your head. Why? Because only you can define how good of a nurse you are, not the nurse you're giving a report to. You're still learning, and what's important is that you did everything you could. And of course, with that comes my next bit of advice, which is to befriend and look up to those coworkers that are way more acknowledging of your strengths versus your weaknesses. I feel like that's the only way to grow as a nurse is to understand what you are good at, keep doing that, but acknowledge where you need to work on certain things. Furthermore, I just wanted to state that comparison is the thief of joy. So really focus on yourself versus comparing yourself to others with more experience. Just remember that they were once in your shoes. They started off as a newbie trying to learn the ropes and understand everything around them, and it just took time for them to get to where they are today. On top of that, there were a lot of moments that I just felt lost. But with this kind of job, you really don't want to take a gamble and just assume different things, you know? Whether it's a procedure or a protocol that you're not too sure about, just remember you have resources around you to guide you if you ever need help. You got your preceptor, you got charge nurses, you got your other nurses, CNAs, physicians, respiratory therapists, dietitians, physical therapists, occupational therapists, case management, speech therapists, phlebotomist, housekeeping, etc. So just let go of your ego and ask for help. And if you ever feel discouraged, like you've hit a brick wall and that you don't know if you're ready to take on that next step of being a nurse on your own, just think about the worries you had when you first started out. The kind of person you were back then. Did the failures you were so worried about come true? Are you less knowledgeable than you were when you first accepted the job offer compared to now, months down the line? So chances are you're not, and you've grown into the type of nurse you would have ran to for help during your first day on the floor. And for me, once I realized that fact about myself, then I knew I made it okay. And if I was able to do that, then I honestly believe anyone could.